have
This
this to refer
conference
back
will now
to
be recorded.
for ourselves and for our colleagues who couldn't join us in real time. There you go, Lisa. All the floor is yours.
Okay, now I feel the pressure, Christine, after that introduction, but it's really great to meet everybody. I am also the Ohio trainer, where David is the Ohio salesperson, but trainers cover a large area. So maybe if I have seen you before, if you've come to some of my online sessions, great, glad to see you again. But I'm yours too. And Christine, thank you for inviting me. I definitely am excited to show you what's happening, to talk about why EBSCO is making changes, what changes are happening, what changes do you already know about or should you know about, and what's coming. And this is, we have a long time today to talk about this. We don't necessarily need to take that time, but I think, Christine, you're going to be monitoring the chat, or if people want to raise, you want to raise your hand and then unmute yourself to talk. I don't know if if that's something you'd prefer to do, but either way, please feel free to ask questions throughout the session, especially if they're relevant to, what I'm showing on the screen. And then any questions that we don't get answered today, we'll definitely do a follow-up with the answers to those questions. All right. So I'm starting here on the Connect page, connect.ebsco.com, because this is the first time I've been working for EBSCO for 13 years, and this is the first time that so many new things are happening that I really, that if you haven't engaged that much with Connect before, I think now is the time to engage, or at least to know you have that in your back pocket. You don't have to ask David or Christine or me. You can hopefully find the information out yourself. And today we are going to be talking about our new user interfaces. So even on Connect, I don't need to have a sign in. I don't need to be the administrator to have access to this. This is just a free and open website. And if I just put in here new EBSCOhost, or I can put new Explora, new, and I see there's some suggestions, but I'm just going to hit enter because I want to see. And the main two things, so the FAQ is going to help you to understand that you don't need to worry about any search boxes that you may have going into EBSCOhost, or your A to Z database page, or any database page that you might have pointing to to individual databases, because we are going to redirect. So some things like that are going to be listed on the FAQ. And then this one here, this quick start guide, and these two are actually linked together. If I go to one, I'm going to have a link to the other. So let's start on the FAQ. And I'm not going to go through this because now you know how to get to it. But I'm just telling you here a lot of information about, proxy servers, how's that going to work? And there's that information to the quick start guide, which this really then gets you into, okay, individual information about how to use the interface while you're doing research, along with ebooks, which we all have ebooks, access to ebooks too, and we'll demonstrate that. I'll show you that. So anyway, I may not be able to go into every single detail, but you have it here, right, on Connect. Let's move over. Any questions, let me know. I'm looking at a preview that we've created for this session of the 3 new user interfaces that are affecting you all right now. Now, from EBSCO. Now, Explora, let's go ahead and start there. Explora should have changed for everybody last summer. So I think August of 2022. Whatever version of Explora you may be, if you're pointing to the Explora, kind of what we're calling more of the general public library search, that automatically those links just changed. If you haven't looked at it lately, this is it. What is Explora versus EBSCOhost versus Science Reference Center? Well, Science Reference Center is a specialized version of your online library, right? You can kind of guess what's in there just by knowing the name of it. Explora, I would say, versus EBSCOhost is more of a simplified version of EBSCOhost. And it's also a graphic version, more graphical version. And it really just helps the user to understand right from the front page the types of things that they may be able to find in this resource. So using this, I'm searching, it's also canned search, I would call it, or almost like an EBSCO discovery layer, right? Because this is using your EBSCO databases, and the library then chooses, well, the user doesn't have to choose the exact database. They just choose Explora, and multiple databases are being searched at the same time, and the library has curated those. So let's do a search in Explora. And actually, what I was going to do is show you, so I can do a word search up here, of course, but what I was going to show you that's unique about Explora is, as I scroll down, I have some topics here. And if I did want to, let's just follow the health topic for a few clicks. So I am searching health topics. I'm following my pathway here. I have multiple things that I can choose. I want to choose emotional health. And now I have additional tiles to choose from. And I'm going to choose mindfulness. And the second I do that, it really what it does is just highlight some of the resources. So here it tells me, hey, I found some things here searching for mindfulness. I found some things here. I can view all the results. I also have some featured content. So I have, look at those ebooks that I have on mindfulness. This is a great resource for patrons that come in and follow that pathway, right? And then they can kind of see right here what's going on. If I'm going to do the view all results, that's just going to take me to a result page where I have those same things, the ebooks that are mixed in with the articles that are coming from, the databases that I'm searching. And so I'm searching multiple databases here. And the difference here, if you're, and it'll be the same when you look at EBSCOhost, is that, the filters have moved from the side here to here. So I would call these quick filters. So I did my search, and no matter how I got to this result page, I finally will end up on a result page, and I have multiple results, right? Lots of results coming from different databases, coming from different magazines. Sometimes the magazines are more scholarly, right? And sometimes they're more popular reading materials. I also have some AP videos that might have something to do with my topic too. As I continue to go down, title of the article, options to see the article in full text, and then my filter options. Quick filters only show me a few of the options that I have in the full filter view. Filter view, it's easy for me to say. Full filter view is here. Quick filters are here. Do I want to quickly, this is already filtered by full text. How do I know that? Because it's blue. It's the only blue filter that's there. If I wanted to filter to scholarly, one quick link, now everything on this list is scholarly. It got rid of those ebooks. It got rid of the popular reading. Then I said, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to go ahead and just uncheck it. Quick filter. Past 12 months, 5 years, 10 years, but where's a customized date? What about the past 3 months? Well, this is quick. If I go into full, I'm going to see additional options. Same with source type. If I go into full filters, I'm going to see additional options here. Let's look at that. Full filters. This setting already on by default. I didn't have to do that. That's a pre-setting that libraries choose for Explora, for EBSCOhost, for any of your interfaces. Then I see here the date range. What's different here? There's past 12, past 5, past 10. There's my custom, right? Remember my source types. What's different there? Well, I have way more than just those 4 or 5 source types that it showed me in those quick filters. In fact, there's my ebooks. So it tells me I have 31 ebooks on this topic of mindfulness. I just wanted to see what was there. And then I have 3 more source types I can view too. Let me close that. What databases am I searching in Explora? Look at this content provider. Content provider, now it shows me. And this is chosen again, by the library, right? Pre-chosen. I didn't have to choose this as a patron, but I can, if I quickly wanted to, I can maybe filter just to more of a, just the middle search. What does that level of reading, which is like for middle school libraries, right? So I can filter to any of these. If I wanted it more academic, maybe just filter to this. But you can easily just see then what's being searched, just so you know in your head. And then I have my subject filter like I'm used to, reading level filter like I'm used to using, and then the publication title like I'm used to. So some of these are new, but a lot of these you should be used to. They're just in a different place. Let me know. So let's just say if I did say I wanted to, filter by magazines. Now I'm still in Explora. I know we touted this as EBSCOhost. I'm going to move over. But the second we move to EBSCOhost, you're going to see all of this is the same, okay, except for kind of the beginning page and then what I'm searching. So any questions before we move out of Explora, let me know. Okay.
I'm not seeing any in chat, Lisa.
Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and re-sign in instead of using the back button a million times. So I have this special way to get in the back door here. I think if I can type. Let's see if that's right. Okay. So let's look at EBSCOhost. Now your links, may go into individual databases, but the way I have this set up, it's kind of similar to Explora, where I have chosen to search multiple databases at the same time. So this again, remember what I said. Well, is this scary? It's new, but it should be very familiar to those of you that have been using Explora. I can see here, I have my dashboard, which we didn't talk about, but this just maps over from what we're currently calling in Classic the My Account or the My Folder. It's the personal user account. So this, anytime I log into one of your EBSCO resources, it recognizes the library that I'm from, but it doesn't necessarily recognize that I'm Lisa Jones. And it's my choice whether or not I want it to know who I am. And I would choose to do that, making an account, making a folder, however you're calling it, or now, adding things to my dashboard. I can choose to do that if I'm doing a lot of research and I want to save things for later. At Reference Desk, a lot of
Lisa,
reference librarians, go ahead.
this is Christine. So we do have a question. When will this EBSCOhost change happen? And I'm going to let you answer that one.
Okay, yeah. And I kind of wanted to start out, I don't know why I didn't start out with that, but so this is, and Christine, you tell me too if this is not right. So for everyone, not just you, but for the majority of the US and Canada, public libraries and school libraries, not academic, not not at the higher level academic, but at the K-12 level, will be switched to EBSCOhost New at the end of July, and the exact date that they're giving is July 25th.
So for folks at Oakland, that should be pretty smooth and transparent for you. We're working with EBSCO on the back end. So presuming that you are using the Ohio Web Library links for your website or the links that you see on the Oakland page for how to get to the EBSCO content, that should be pretty seamless for you. But if you do have questions, you can email us at support@oakland.ohio.gov at any point, or use our chat. But yeah, it should be around the end of July.
Yes.
We'll see if it is that precise date. Lisa.
Yeah, I think they're going to do a big, if they basically told everyone that's the date.
Yeah. But it should be pretty seamless for you, and it should happen at the end of July, and we will keep in communication about that as things get closer, okay?
All right. Any other questions? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about just the authentication piece because, or me being personally authenticated, so personal user authentication. A lot of times in public libraries, users don't want it. I just, it's bad enough I have to be here and have a library card. Maybe I don't want to sign in. I don't want to make an account. But reference librarians a lot of times will use this if you do find helpful materials that are new and helpful, and maybe for some research project that students are starting to come in at the beginning of the semester. They check out all the books on one topic, and then you don't have many resources, and you're scrambling for resources. So you may be saving maybe ebooks, and you may make like a general folder for you for the reference desk and just save some of the ebooks that you found to be helpful, and then always for personal use too. But here it is, and this works the same way as in our classic versions of EBSCO. You either personalize or you don't. So if I wanted to personalize and make an account so that I could save items for later, for then access for me to sign in and come in later, then I can do that here, but I'm not automatically authenticated. Either way, your dashboard has to do with either the session save. So if I don't sign in, this is a session dashboard. So the searches that I do for this session are saved only for this session, and then they go away. What I viewed will be there. I think that's really about what's happening. If I want these things for later, then I would sign in, authenticate, make myself an account if I don't have one, and then those things will be there for later when I come back in. Or if you're helping a user in the library and then you tell them, hey, all those things we found today, you can go back, you can go home, sign into EBSCO, and your items the things I helped you save, will be there waiting for you, and then you can do your research at home. So same quick filters. Let's go ahead and do a search, and I'll use that same search of mindfulness. It helps me with spelling. It gives me suggested searching topics. And I am searching additional databases, like 37 different ones. So I will get different results on this page, but I still have those same types of access points. So I have title of the book or of the article. I have the access points here. So just for an ebook, you have the two options of EPUB. EPUB is a flowable format. So if I'm on my mobile device, the EPUB tends to work better because it's flowable text. PDF we know that's pretty static. It has page numbers that are static. And so those might be the two choices there for your ebook. For your article, then you're going to have that, what we used to call HTML full text, which is really just online full text. It really is just a text-based version of the document. Or you have the option of PDF. Sometimes you only have one option. Let's see. So if you only have one option, so this PDF is the only option for this article, then it'll show you right away. If you have more than one, it'll give you that drop down to then choose. Let's go ahead and let's see. This is Time Magazine. This is fine. I'm going to go ahead and show you. So why would I choose one over the other? And this is kind of the same in Classic. So this is just a reminder. Is number one, I think I wanted to, let me choose another article. I was trying to choose something that had a little bit of color. And actually, no, I think that's right. I think the PDF is one. So let me go ahead and go back in there. Sorry. Let me go ahead and do that. So this is the text-based version of the article. Why would I choose this text-based version over the PDF? Well, two things. And one thing is still coming at the end of this month, which is the text-to-speech. So you already have the text-to-speech in Classic. And remember I told you, these are brand new interfaces that EBSCO is developing. So we started from scratch to rebuild our searching interfaces. Why did we do that? Because we're using the latest web technologies. We're using accessibility as a huge drive to create our new interfaces, and usability. So all of that put together needs, we looked at our interface and said we really need to not just put a put a nice shiny coat of paint on an old car. We really need to rebuild. So that's what we've done. So a lot of things that you see are, if I say it's coming, then it's coming, and you'll see new things coming too. Now all of a sudden my mouse is not doing something right. Let me just, here we go. Okay, so my tools here. I will have the text to speech. That will be at the end of this month or in mid-June. That's what they're saying. Why else would I choose the text version besides from the PDF is, what about the translate tool? Remember the translate tool? Multiple options that I can translate this text version of the article. And then here's my save to dashboard. There's my citation tool. So same types of tools that you're used to, different options for citation, APA, MLA. Also my share. So if I don't want to use the EBSCO cloud by making an account, but if I do have a Google Drive or a Microsoft Drive, or maybe I just want to grab a link for this, or I want to email it to myself, right? Or you're helping someone and you want to email it to them. So all of that is done under the share. Let me talk a little bit about the permalinks because this is a big deal. So with these new interfaces come a new URL structure. So we're used to telling users if you are, if you want to save this for later, if you're grabbing the URL to something, we're used to telling them, hey, you have to get the permalink out of the article itself. You can't use this. That's what you were used to telling them. But in any of the new user interfaces, so the three that I'm going to show you today, Explora, this one, EBSCOhost, and the Science Reference Center, you can now use this too. You don't have to go in and create this link and get that permalink. So this will give you a direct link to this article on this page. This will also give you the same thing. Let's go back out. I'm going to go back. This will give you a list of, if I reran this, it's going to do the search for me. And it's going to say, okay, mindfulness, boom. So this is also a permalink to the search. If I added filters, let's say I want to add the source type of magazines, and now I filtered down to 21,000, or I did want to add those ebooks back in, no matter what, this is now the same thing. If I sent you this, this is then going to do the mindfulness search, and it's going to filter by magazines. So this is a great tool for you to remember now within the new user interfaces. So let's see what else we have here. If I click here, EBSCO or general search, I'm going to go back to the home page. It's going to just kind of clear everything out. Let's just do another search. Oh, we know we love consumer reports. So remember, I'm searching lots of databases, but the system still says, hey, I'm going to look for what I believe is the most relevant information. And I'm usually looking at those words close together in like a subject area, definitely in the title of the article or ebook. And I can see already that I have the buyer's guide here about lawnmowers and tractors. If I'm looking at this, I want to jump into the PDF this time. And then when I jump into the PDF, this is what we're used to seeing, right? So we see that it's 5 pages long. There's that lovely kind of, chart that we love out of Consumer Reports. So if I want to just download this, that just means I'm taking it offline. I'm going to save it to my device, right? Or to, if you're allowing users to bring in their flash drives or something, they can go ahead and do that there. Here is, look at coming soon. So you're going to see more things like this as our developers are adding features. You may see some things like this where I can search within the PDF, right? I can already do this within an ebook. Here's my save the item. And let me go ahead and do that save. And it tells me here, I've added to your save items, but if you want it for later, you better sign in. And then I have my other tools, the print, the share. Go back.
Hey, Lisa,
Yeah.
Christine again. So we have a question. Most of our libraries use the Open Easy Proxy services, but we do have a couple of our libraries that do their own Easy Proxy, the OCLC Easy Proxy, to authenticate users to access the EBSCO resources. And they are wondering if they will have to update their resource URLs in Stanza to change with this transition.
So, hold on. So I can send a document of about Easy Proxy, and then the one main thing that you need to do and then there's something about EBSCO admin that you just need to make sure, check a setting in EBSCO admin, because I'm just going to tell you this here, whatever this code, so here, all of your URLs are going to be either researcher.discovery.com researcher.ebsco.com or discovery.ebsco.com. That's going to be in Explora, in History Reference Center, and here. But this is going to be different, this little 6-letter code. And this holds your proxy information. This holds like what database you're going to, what interface you're going to. So this is the key to everything. So I'm just kind of letting you know that for those of you, for like administrators on here, that there is one site in EBSCO admin, one area that you need to make sure is pointing to your proxy, because then this knows what to do. When I said, hey, take this link here, send it to someone. If they're not, in the library or in an IP recognized environment, then boom, your correct proxy will show up and they'll be able to get right through, whatever you're using, your library card number or. So hopefully that answers the question. I did make a note, Christine, and I'll send you those documents and then you can share, or if you want me to
Yep.
send directly, just let me know who it is.
Yep. And I've made note. So folks at Columbus Metro, I will make sure that that gets to you. And I believe Cincinnati might also. And there are a couple of folks we know run their own Easy Proxy. But again, for the most of the folks on the webinar today, EBSCO's, I'm sorry, you're welcome, Columbus folks. Most of the folks on the call today, Oakland will be taking care of this for you, so you don't have to worry. You just get to enjoy the good stuff. You don't have to worry about any of the back end. And as Lisa keeps explaining to me, the back end just keeps getting simpler and simpler too.
But, yes, it is. And that's a good thing too. That's where I live usually. So, all right, let's look at this. Remember here in the filters, it shows me I have those same kind of things. So here, my content provider is basically kind of the question of what databases am I searching? If I'm only searching one, then it's just going to show me the one, academic search or master file or newspaper source. If I happen to be searching multiples, then it's going to show me the multiples, and then I can use it to filter. If not, then I also have my source types, my subject headings, the reading level range, and you may not be used to the reading level range being in EBSCO, but you see now you have a lot of the same shared filters. So reading level, if you're not using Lexile or, in the schools that you support aren't using Lexile, basically what this is just a reading range. And the easiest way that you can, because I'm searching all of these resources, and there's really high level resources in here, and there's then primary resources in here too, or primary school, elementary school resources. How do I just kind of get cut to the chase? If I look at this, think about, when do you start reading, right? You start reading about 4 or 5 years old, sometimes 6, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, but, around the average age. So think about your lowest level of reading is going to be the very beginnings. Then you can go up and you can just kind of guesstimate, if you don't want to look at what Lexile, the exact range is, just kind of guesstimate. This is probably then, 2nd, 3rd grade, 4th grade. Then we're looking at maybe 5th, 6th, 7th, a little bit higher level, right? And then you're looking at, this jumps up to 1300. We know 1300 is basically is 100% adult level reading. And I know I'm saying that, I shouldn't be saying that the way that is, but higher level reading, let's call it that, because sometimes adults can be reading also at these lower levels, right? So either way, if I wanted to just quickly get in there, something about lawnmowers that's written at this level, I can do that. Okay, so remember, these filters are really good for you and easy for you when you're trying to, just quickly kind of get down to better results. Okay, I think I am ready. I'm trying to think. Oh, let me go ahead. I'm going to just do this and just kind of remind everybody. So if I just add a bunch of stuff to my folder here, it's telling me better sign in, better sign in. Why does EBSCO allow you to do that? It allows you to do it now. Well, the quickest thing is if I go over here, let me just go to my overview of my dashboard. So I don't have any projects set up. Before I set up a project, it's going to say, you know what, you need to sign in because this is something like you're organizing your research, you're organizing with subfolders. But here's my saved, and it tells me then that, and here's the searches that I've done. And unless I save the searches and then sign in, it'll never save my searches. But if I do want to know what I've searched, just in this session, I can see here, I can see what I've viewed, the items that I've viewed, and then the holds and checkouts actually pertain to your EBSCO ebooks. So if I look at just here of what I've saved, why does it allow me to, to save this many, this items? Well, first of all, if I did this, now I could export or now I could download. So to quickly grab 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 articles and then export them or download them for the user, that's how you could, that's what you would, that's the kind of the beauty of allowing those session folders. Now, if I wanted these saved for later, for 2 weeks from now when I come back in, that's when I need to make an account. Okay, so any other questions, let me know. If not, I want to show you Science Reference Center really quickly.
Okay, we do have a question. The current EBSCO interface offers browse by publication. Is this an option in the new interface?
So there are some things, remember I said some things are still coming. So let's talk about what's here too, and let's go to advanced search. So advanced search, you do have those 3 boxes like you do now in your advanced search. And the one thing here with advanced search is this journal title source, So if you knew, so not necessarily a browse, but if you did want to say, well, I'm searching 37 databases, do any of those databases hold the specific title? And let's just say something like, I don't know, Journal of Marketing, or, even this. So I'm looking at that. Does it hold it? I just want to know. So you could do that way to find your journal, and then I would do search, and I could look on the result list and see if the search is there. But as far as the real true publication, I just want to put marketing in, and it's going to give me every journal that has something to do with marketing. That is still on the roadmap to come, unless you have our product of full text finder, or if you have Discovery Service. So if you happen to have Discovery Service, the publication finder that comes with Discovery is available to come on this list here, and it would come here, and it would just be publication finder, which is a front end title level search. Okay, now I'm not in sales. That's all I'm going to say about it. If you want to ask more questions, if you do fit that bill, then we can make sure that when you have new EBSCO that it shows there. All right, and I'll remind me to, I'll show everybody where the roadmap is and where the release notes are, so you could see and you can kind of follow along with what's happening. And then just say, for instance, if you weren't in this session and you're like, oh, I'm looking at new EBSCO, but I don't see where I could search publications. That's definitely something where I would go directly to our support team and I'd say, hey, new EBSCOhost, where's the publication search? And and please put me on the enhancement request. If it's not, if you can't tell me where it is, please put me on the enhancement request. And that falls under we are listening to you. We know we have certain things on the roadmap to make better parity with the classic version and the new. but we don't have every single thing because every single thing isn't used. So your voice, knowing that, obviously that's already on the roadmap because it's needed. But some things, some little small tiny thing, the way you used to use the database, if it's not there anymore, just ask. Or we're going to either tell you a different way to do it, or we're going to tell you that it's on the roadmap, or we're going to say, hey, great idea. Let's put that, on the list of things. All right. So back to advanced search. What is here is the ability to build searches using our subject thesaurus. So if because I'm searching multiple databases, let's do this, because typically a lot of you are going to be pointing to EBSCOhost, and you're usually pointing to it using one database. Let's use let's use Business Source, right? So you have Business Source link. This is what a user is used to using. I'm going to go to advanced search. If I want to, then use the business thesaurus to then build my search, so the subject terms. And let me see if I did something like nano. Let's see. I'm looking for nanotechnology. Oh, let me do this. Let me see if this is any better. Here we go. So I'm looking for the subject term. Is it nanoengineering or is it nanotechnology? If so, here I have options to explode my search term. So these are the same types of tools that you had before if you wanted to start in a subject, start from a subject. So here I am. Let's go ahead and add that to my search. So it built that search here. And let's just say, let's go ahead and look at it down here. So let's go ahead. If I want to explode that, I can. That kind of tells me here, tells me where, what that's going to bring in all kinds of different terms if I explode it and all the subheadings underneath it. Or if I just want to keep it at artificial intelligence, I'm going to do that. Going to add that to my search. Now I'm doing 2 subject specific searches, and I'm going to be able to change my Boolean in between and go ahead and then pull that search off. Now I've done my subject level searches, and you can kind of do the same thing, just like now, if I am in an article and I say, well, I'm going to look at the result or the detailed view of the article, I can also then search any of these to then do a whole new subject search to give me a whole new set of results, and it'll give me a whole new set of filters. Because remember, your filters are very relevant to your exact search list. So as soon as I change my search list, my filters definitely change. Okay, any other areas? We talked about the dashboard. We talked about, this is also just in general, the advanced search page is what is, is being built up and worked on. So you'll see a lot of development and a lot of additions to the advanced search area. Any other areas you want to look at here, or you want to go ahead and move on to the Science Reference Center? Let me know.
I am not seeing anybody clamoring for more here, so let's go ahead and move along to the Science Reference Center, please.
Okay. Every time I get off that page.
Quick question. Would the Niche Academy EBSCO tutorials be updated to include these new interfaces and functions also? That's a great question.
So you're talking about on Connect?
Yeah, well, okay. So that's a great. So we may have to get back. So Niche Academy is online learning, right? But that is not an EBSCO product, correct?
No, it's not.
So since that is a third party doing tutorials on EBSCO, it would be up to them whether they're updated, but I'm sure they will be on that fairly quickly. So
Yeah, if
I
Niche
would,
Academy is, if they're a site that's pointing to, that's pointing to like things that we've created on YouTube and all that, or if they're creating their own, that would also be kind of the question to ask.
yeah. So I was going to say, yeah. If you work with Niche Academy, I would recommend reaching out to them. So thank you.
Yeah, and as far as not niche, any of these, when I see this, if I look at this and if I'm looking for videos, I can see that I would check here, videos, and I'm going to get a lot of those, or YouTube, or both. And I'm going to get both of those options then. And, I know our marketing team puts a lot of stuff out, just those real quick snippets, here's new UI with the lovely radio voice in the background. So a lot of those are available now if you need them like right away, if before Niche Academy catches up. So what did we just do? We went into Science Reference Center. Why does it say Explora? Because every reference center that you have, and this includes, well, Christine, what other reference centers do you guys have available to you?
So quiz time, pop quiz time. Literary Reference Center.
Wait, did we lose you? So hopefully, okay, can anyone else hear me? I just want to make sure I'm the one that's not hearing Christine, but you guys are hearing me. Okay, good. So Christina will join us back again. So no matter what, let's just kind of take off where. This is Brand New Science Reference Center. If you happen to have History Reference Center through, like directly from EBSCO, or if you happen to have those other reference centers like Christine was talking about, Literary Reference Center, Small Business, any of those other reference centers that EBSCO has, we those new interfaces are coming. What's available now is science, okay? And when I say coming, I mean at the end of the year or the very beginning of the other year, all of those reference centers will be moved over to the Explora interface. So think about Explora is an interface, searching interface, just like EBSCOhost, right? Instead of having all these individual areas, so science, different reference centers, science and history and literary, and all of them will be now housed and searched using the Explora engine, but they will be branded then here. So it'll be Explora Science, Explora Literary, Explora Small Business. So Christine, thanks for joining, for coming back in. We lost you for a minute.
Yeah, so it was me having too many windows open. I did, yeah. So we all do that sometimes, but I was just going over the list of the reference centers. So as Lisa was saying, Science Reference Center is transitioning now. Hobbies and Craft, Home Improvement, and Small Business by the
Yep,
end of the
yep.
year, and Consumer Health, Literary, and Points of View by next July for us. So that's,
Yeah,
yeah,
and because
those are
we
the
did
ones
an
we have.
update, last June for consumer health complete, but then it's still, so it's newer and refreshed and new materials in it, but then it's going to kind of join the rest of the Explore bunch, then at the end or whenever you said next year. But
Yeah.
either way, don't let it throw you off, because you're really just looking still at Science Reference Center, the database, and you're searching Explora, the interface. But this is still specialized to science, so it has individual tiles that have to do with science. And then I am searching one database here. So if I used my search term, I'm using this because it's just a hot topic right now, right? Super hot topic. Artificial intelligence, the other kind of difference between Explora, I talked about it being more visual. It could be more of a Canvas search where the library is choosing the databases behind it. But for this Explora and for any Explora, if I search something that has a topic overview, you don't see these topic overviews using EBSCOhost. So this is unique to Explora, one of the other things unique. And this is just a citable starting point of research. So if I have a topic overview, it's either going to show up or not, depending on my search term. If I have it, I can use it to gather information, general information about my topic, and then to go further with my research. There's my ebook, ebook information that's coming from my Science Reference Center ebook collection. And then I have my articles that's coming from Science Reference Center. And if I looked here under content, that's basically, there's those topic overviews and there's those, so this is what you're searching when you're searching Science Reference Center. Same filters, same quick filters, same, full filters, same ability to access information, same dashboard. Once I make an account, if I decide to do that, my account is my account is my account. I can go anywhere and sign in. I can go to Science Reference Center, make my account, then go over to EBSCOhost and, have the things that I saved in Science Reference Center still waiting for me there. You do have some additional things here. Citation help, research guide, curriculum standards. So kind of some just extra things that you might have in those reference centers that are more for school-based or like homework help-based resources. But if you notice, same URL up here, this is where the magic is right there. And so this is, bookmarkable. So I don't think, this, again, once these things get switched over, you've already been using Explora. Your patrons should already be familiar, if they're using the databases, with how Explora works. It's not going to be some big change moving over into EBSCOhost and moving into the reference centers.
So Lisa, we've got a question. Will other reference centers have this topical search eventually also?
Yes. So in fact, I think we already went in we went into Explora and we did those, but let's do this. So they're building this even more. So look at this, featured content. And I didn't even do a search yet. So this is just the opening page. So I have explore my topics. I have popular topics that are going to be changing and kind of depending on what's going on in EBSCO land as far as who's searching what, and then featured content. So I have some things about bots and science and 2 books here about artificial intelligence. So this, I can scroll over, see additional renewable energy. I can go in. So yes, all of these reference centers will be based and built using the same types of navigation so that it's super easy for users to just move from one to the other. Let's look at El Nino. I just saw something about that. So eventually, again, it's helping me to do the search, but eventually I get to where then I'm reading articles, using my filters to limit further. Okay, let me know if there's any questions or if you did want me to do any searches in any of these 3 interfaces. I think, Christine, that we did say too that we were flipping the switch on Science Reference Center. So that will also be moved, that will also be changed on the 25th of July. Is that correct, Christine?
Correct. So what this change, we'll see this change when we see the new EBSCOhost interface for all of the public libraries in Ohio. We've got a great question here from Kathy. Can you sort the results by date, like the
let's do it. So let's do this. Okay.
That popped up there.
Yep. So let's do that. I don't even know how I got there, but let me just show you what happened here. So let's go into spice sciences and astronomy, I think. And then let's go into black holes. And so if you look at the search, what it's doing, and so there is, this, and then there's, 2002, like you're right. So what EBSCO is actually doing is it's taking this topic and then it's adding additional, like the additional things. So I would call this a very tight search that it's doing. Now, if I just did a search and we look at and we see 296, and then how is it saying, well, what's the most relevant? So what the relevant sort is saying, it's saying this, and let's continue to look. So here's something from 2010, 28, 29. Yeah, let's see if I just did black holes. That's why I always think, I mean, those topical searches are great to know what's in there. But if I just did black holes, I'm getting a lot more results, and I'm getting an ebook from 2017. I'm getting an article from 2000, 2023. Here's something from 2022 from Scientific America. There's New Scientist. There's Scientific America again, New Scientist again, Discover magazine. So this is doing a keyword search on a lot of different areas, kind of the main part of the articles. That other search was really doing a very narrow search, like it has to be within the subject. And you know what? Because of your question, I'm going to actually ask about that a little bit more. And I'm going to use this as an example. I'm writing this down right now. Because when users go through, like you tell me, if I'm a user and I just did those two searches, right? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to follow that along. This result list to me is so much more helpful than following that. And it may not always be the case, but maybe they need to loosen up that pathway search, that those canned searches. Maybe they need to loosen it up so that users aren't kind of in that where it's just drilled down so narrowly and there's not many things new on there when there should be. Because relevant sort says this. Relevant sort says, first of all, how many times do I see your search terms in the title, title of the article or ebook, in the abstract or description of the document, in the, author field, in the journal title field, or what about in the subject field? And it weighs the subject way heavier. It says, oh, well, if I see it in the subject, I'm going to put it up close to the top. And then it says, wait a minute, hold on. How new is it? How long is it? And it weighs those things heavier, because if it's a longer article, and it's not necessarily ebooks, it kind of has a different algorithm for, but as far as how new is it, how long is it, articles, it recognizes if I have a paragraph that talks about black holes, or if I have a 3-page paper that talks about black holes, probably a 3-page paper is going to weigh more, it's going to be more relevant to the researcher. So it's going to push those other things down. So that's what relevant sort does. Thank you for that question. And now I have a question for the product managers. And this is another thing too, is that now I've been working for EBSCO for 13 years. I already told you that. Your voice is as loud as ever right now because of how we're developing, because of the agile, development process that we're doing. And in the past, we've said, oh yeah, give us your feedback, let us know. But now I think it's louder than ever. So thank you for poking around, digging around, asking questions, asking our support team or your salespeople, and continuing to use the products and tell us how you want them developed, so that they're best for you and best for patrons, best for our researchers. So thank you for that. There, I'm off my soapbox now. Okay, any other searches? We're still just searching. This is Science Reference Center. So if I go here, or if I go to General Search, it's going to take me back. And then I'm going to see, I'm in the Reference Center here. Let me know any other questions. Remember, your Connect has a lot of information, has little small videos.
Okay, we have another one.
Question.
Is relevance the only choice on that drop-down looking menu?
So I just did a search in DNA. That's a big topic, right? It's a lot of results. So it's saying, so because of the subject, it's saying, okay, I'm going to give you at least the things, that's 9,000 things. I'm going to give you the relevant, what I think is more relevant. How many times do I see it in the top metadata of an article or item, as opposed to an article that has a dog named DNA. And so the relevant sort is really the best way, but you can sort by date newest or date oldest. The thing is, the thing that I would do better than sorting by date newest or date oldest, unless you're doing some historical thing, date oldest is great. Date newest just means what's the newest thing that was added to the database? And so it's most likely going to be newspapers, right? Dailies that we update daily, or it may be just one journal that was just kind of like when you get journals or magazines in your library, whatever was sent to you a week ago is now made it to the shelf, right? So same with us. So whatever journal was posted yesterday or published yesterday and updated. So I wouldn't use this here if I'm looking for the latest information on DNA. What I would use is this, custom. So maybe I only want to do the last 2 months, the last 3 months, the last year. Then I'm going to get down to the latest information about my topic. So there's the long answer to that short question.
But that's an important distinction. I don't know that I would have realized that had you not shared that. I would have thought that to be date of publication, not date of edition.
I think date newest here, and I think because we're in this database, it's going to be fine. But especially like in a newspaper database or a database where things are being up, where there's dailies, that's what's going to come. And it's not necessarily the best way to look at things.
Okay, I had scheduled us. Oh no. Oh yeah. One of our attendees say, "I'm sorry to say that's not intuitive at all for customers." So
yeah,
might do.
I understand that. And for this example, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as what I've seen before. So if I do to date newest, I don't think I still think like here's this is talking about RNA and DNA. It's just sometimes when you do date newest, it's still not really considered the most relevant. But I see where that's what you're looking for. I still think as a default, the default setting should be relevance, and then users can choose whether or not they find items there, or if they do decide to go into filters and then kind of filter by date range. Even if I just did this, like past 5 years, right? I don't necessarily have to do, or, remember the quick filters are here. Just that custom range was here. So instead of doing this date newest, maybe just do, past 12 months, right? That'd be an easier thing to do.
Okay, thanks, Lisa, and thanks for all these great questions. We did block off a good bit of time this afternoon, but I think part of that intention was to leave time for question and answers. Lisa, was there any other content that you wanted to show us today?
Christine, unless I've forgotten something that you're like,
I don't think so. That's just why I'm asking. I'm like, I think we covered everything.
I mean, we looked at all 3 interfaces. We talked about the Connect site where they can get more help. We can do a follow-up. We will be staying in touch with you on, on when those next reference centers will be updated. And if you have the need after these updates and after summer reading, like let's say homework help time, I think Christine and I also talked about additional trainings, maybe when, in mid-fall or kind of after everyone gets settled, after school starts again, to maybe do some homework help, or just, learning more about your online resources, online library, those type of sessions. So tell Christine, so I'm going to put Christine on the spot now. Tell Christine what your training needs are, I think, if you have any, as far as your EBSCO resources. And then, we can definitely plan those.
Right. I am only as good as the feedback I get as well. So if you do have ideas for things you'd like to explore in depth, things that we have not covered in other ways, you've got the Open, all of the contacts, it will make its way to me, but Christine at open.ohio.gov is my direct email, and certainly the reasoning for this right now is it's a big change. It's a huge change, but it's so much more accessible. It's so much more responsive. I think everybody is going to appreciate where this is going, but it's a big change and wanted to make sure that folks had a heads up, some time to take a look around, some time to ask really good questions about what is coming down the pipeline. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera on since there's no more screen sharing. But if you do have questions, please reach out to us and we will get that information back. This recording will be going up probably within the next day. And in the meantime, if there's anything else we can do for you, please let me know.
Yeah, thanks, Christine. I think I might have told you before, the training team looked up, when's the last time we had a huge EBSCOhost release, and it was a long time ago. So everyone's been using the classic version of EBSCOhost for a very long time for some of us old school librarians. So it's definitely time to move to move up and move on. It's hard. Change is hard.
But good in the
Always,
end.
right? Yeah, it keeps our minds fresh, keeps those brain connections alive.
Exactly. I'm going to leave this open for just a little bit more here if anybody has questions. If not, I'm going to give the long goodbye to you all. I appreciate all of your time today that you have shared with us here, learning about the new EBSCO interfaces for your patrons and for your colleagues. Please share this information. When you registered, you also got, you're welcome. You also got a link and a login to the demo site, so please feel free to use that. Please share that with your colleagues. And since I'm not seeing any more questions right now, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.